Welcome to the Heart of Giving. As you know, this program introduces to you the nonprofits we have in the community and the wonderful people that are making sure that these needs of our community are met. In the last 3 months, we have been sponsored by McKenna's, George's Greek Deli, Legends, and Taco Beach, and freeconferencecall.com. They have been our first sponsors, and I also want to thank John Morris for the work he's done for us. Today, we have two groups that I'd like to introduce to you. The first group is the Ronald McDonald House. This is a wonderful addition to our community. It's fairly new, but the work that is done so far has just reached far and wide. I'd like to introduce to you Sherry Paisley and Jennifer, and you're going to introduce Jennifer in a minute. But, you know, I think people know what the Ronald McDonald House is, but, you know, every time I've talked with you, I could just feel the love that you have for what you do. So tell us about how this happened in our city, and tell us what you do every day.
Sure, I'd love to, and thank you very much for the invitation. Jennifer and I are so pleased to be your guest today.
Good.
We are relatively new, as you mentioned. We'll celebrate our 2-year anniversary in December, just a
2
few
years.
months. Yes. It's been a wonderful journey from the inception, and even before the shovel went in the ground to build our beautiful house, the community for many years, working very closely with the hospital and our board of trustees, knew that there was a need. We often refer to ourselves as a home away from home for families with critically ill children. So several of the prominent physicians at Miller Children's Hospital were in touch with our board members and our global organization to express the need for the house in Long Beach.
And it's been here for 2 years, but I know, as you mentioned, that people were getting together to start fundraising for at least 2 or 3 years before that.
That's very true.
Yeah.
We were amazed at the outpouring in the Long Beach community and the very much needed funds raised in such a short period of time. It was absolutely an outpouring of support for the need and the building of the house.
Now, where is it, and how many do you serve, and what you do every day?
Certainly, great questions. We are very conveniently located right across the street from Miller Children's Hospital on 27th Street. Our facility is 23 beautiful guest rooms and many common areas that our families are able to enjoy. So we can serve up to 23 families at a time. And that can be upwards of 60, 70 people.
That's right, because many of them multi-families.
Yes, yes. We've served great numbers in such a short time, Beverly. We've served over 800 families.
Really?
Yes, and that equates to almost 2,000 people.
Like, how long do they stay?
Another great question. The average length of stay for a family is about 11 to 12 days.
Wow.
But that doesn't mean we have families that stay much greater periods of time. And Jen may have an opportunity to tell you about some of the specific families that we've served that have not only stayed considerable lengths of time, but have become very important and special to us.
So, and where is it?
It's on 27th Street, right across the street from Miller Children's Hospital.
And how do people become part of this?
We work very closely with our hospital partners, and hospital partners could be anyone from physicians themselves, social workers, or certainly the nurse partnership. They are our experts in terms of determining the priorities of the family, the severity of the children's needs, and also the distance that they live from the hospital and the Ronald McDonald House. While we serve people from our own immediate community, we also serve families from far and wide. Currently, we have several families staying with us. One is from Vietnam, and the other is from Guam. Again, the biggest percentage of families being from our immediate community and LA County.
And this gives a chance for the parents to be near their children that need their love and support.
Yes.
And so it isn't so unfamiliar as it is in a hospital for a child.
Right. Surveys show, and families have told us directly, that being able to be so close to their child at what is probably the most critical time of the family's life has not only kept them together, but oftentimes they believe the children heal faster. So it's a remarkable way that we are supporting families again at a very critical time.
And they can be there all day and be with their child all when they're awake and know that they're getting that support from their family. And they bring other children with them if it's a multi-numbered party family?
Absolutely true. We often have siblings of the patient right there in our house. And we also like to say that we're much more than a house. We provide meals for families, and those are brought in from the community most times.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
Okay. We have activities, and the house is really conducive to, again, sibling stays, families having quiet time, respite, a lot of things other than just being an accommodation.
So what do you provide for them? You provide a room, a bedroom, and you provide, do they cook any of their own meals?
They certainly are able to. We have a gorgeous, spacious kitchen, and we provide some food items, staples, so they may cook at any time. And we also do, as I mentioned, we have community groups come in to prepare meals for families.
I guess some of the things that I've heard, which I think are wonderful, is that the camaraderie with the staff and with each other is something that gives them even more support.
Yes, also very true. Many of these families will meet for the first time, and they'll be able to share in a quiet, calm, comforting environment exactly what they're going through with others who are going through similar circumstances. That ability to bond and have this very wonderful place to share their story, again, makes a really big difference.
Would you introduce Jennifer to us?
Sure, I would love
Jennifer,
to.
you tell us what you do.
I'd love to. Jennifer Moore's with me today. She's our development manager at the Long Beach Ronald McDonald House.
Yes.
Jennifer.
Very nice to meet you.
You're on now.
Thank you. I help with, as Sherry said, the development part of the house, so helping raise the funds to continue to sustain the needs of what we do. And also we wear a lot of hats, so I'll help assist with events and some marketing and all of the above.
I know that the community does provide dinners because I belong to a couple organizations that will say, members, the third Sunday of this month, it's our day, and we want the people, and the community brings their own food, and then they cook for the...
Exactly that. If it's a restaurant or a caterer, sometimes the restaurant will just bring the actual meals in. But we also have community groups such as the Rotary that will come in, and
that's the one I get.
The last Sunday of the month, and they'll pick ingredients to bring, and they'll cook a large meal for the families. Primarily it's dinners that are typically served. A lot of times our families spend long hours in the hospital, so knowing that they'll have an actual home cooked meal to come back to at 6 o'clock at night means the world to them. We'll also have groups that will come in and do a breakfast or a lunch. We'll have people that will do special themes throughout the year. So it's a really special time for our families.
And if you don't have an outside group coming in, do you have people that cook for the families, or do they do their own?
We find that sometimes the families really like to have some normalcy and cook for themselves. So again, we'll provide large trays of lasagnas that is simple cooking, and they like to do that themselves. We do find when we provide opportunities for the families to engage in the care and, again, preparation of meals, it's healing. I once
More like home.
I once had a mom say to me that she was having trouble sleeping, and she immediately said, not because the room isn't beautiful and the bed is very comfortable, Sherry, but she said, I found myself getting up in the middle of the night and doing laundry in the beautiful laundry room. She said, it's the most normal I've felt since my daughter was diagnosed 6 months earlier. So it's small things like that in a home away from home where families really find pleasure and comfort.
Yeah, normalcy.
Yes, exactly right.
A normal day.
I'd love to just add those sponsors, those restaurants that you mentioned, if I may. All of those restaurants provide dinners.
Oh, the ones I mentioned?
Yes.
Oh, was that right?
Yes, every single one is involved in our meal program. So
And there are
they're
other
very-
restaurants too. probably.
many,
Yeah.
many.
That's wonderful.
I hope that's okay.
Give me a story. Give me an example of a family that
Do you want
comes
to
to
start
mind.
with the family on the cover of our current
I'd love-
newsletter?
You know, I'll tell you, and then I'll turn over the story to Jen. Jen writes our newsletter, which she does a beautiful job in doing. And on the cover of our recent newsletter is a family. I mentioned families often stay great lengths of time. And this family, the Riscala family, stayed 208 nights. And maybe you can share just a little bit about them.
They were originally from Egypt, is where their parents all live. They had just bought a house in Orange County, a townhome in Orange County. Mother doesn't drive, and about 5 months into her pregnancy, she was. They knew that something was wrong with their child, but they didn't know what it was going to be until he was delivered. He was delivered at Miller Children's Hospital, and he had a rare condition where his throat wasn't connecting to his stomach, an extremely rare case. So of course the family, being distraught of having their child being ill, not knowing what the outcome was going to be, the many surgeries that they were going to have to go through, the nurses introduced him to the Ronald McDonald house. They stayed a total of 202 nights where he underwent 3 extensive surgeries. Good news is Jacob
That's
just turned
wonderful.
1. The
Oh,
little baby
wow.
boy turned 1.
How good.
They were able to stretch his esophagus to connect to his stomach. So he's currently learning to eat and swallow and all
Well,
of
you know,
that.
I wish that I had asked you for examples earlier because they're so wonderful, and all of a sudden our time is over, and so I can't hear more. So, but we'll have you come back again
Wonderful.
sometime.
Thank
So-
you.
Well, thank you for what you do and the warmth and love that you show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Kimberly.
We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Judy Ross. I'm the Executive Director of the Long Beach Nonprofit Partnership, and we are so delighted to be partnering with Beverly O'Neill and PadNet, our new public access television network, with the Heart of Giving. This is an opportunity to really showcase our wonderful nonprofits in our community. The Long Beach Nonprofit Partnership helps nonprofits become strong and sustainable.
Welcome back. This next segment I know a little bit about, but I have someone here that a lot of people in the community already know, and that's Virginia Baxter. And Virginia Baxter came to Long Beach City College a long time ago, but all of a sudden she became part of probably one of the best things that City College has ever had, and that's the Long Beach City College Foundation. And Jenny, I'm glad that you're here. Thank you very much.
Thank
Good
you,
to have you
Beverly.
with us. I'm going to let you just kind of start. What is the Long Beach City College Foundation? What does it do? Why is it important?
Okay.
What makes it important?
Okay,
So,
very
and I know you can talk without me even asking you questions. So,
Well, the Long Beach City College Foundation was started in 1978, really in response to Prop 13, because people in the community understood that the college would need more support. And so we're 35 years old, and during that time, we've raised over $30 million. I'm very pleased to say we have $14 million, and the reason why I'm pleased to say that is we spend the money we earn because we want to help people today. And so I don't mean that we're spendthrifts, but we have spent, much is that? $20 million on our students, primarily through scholarships, for faculty grants, for campus improvements, things like that.
and these are things that you can't, that the government doesn't do with the tax that.
That's true.
So
That's
when
true.
we talk about all that money, you go, you know, but it goes right directly, actually, to the students.
It goes directly to the students. You're absolutely right, and that really, it helps the students, but also helps the community. And I have the wonderful opportunity to meet so many of these fine young people and not so young people. And if they didn't have assistance, they wouldn't be in school. Just the other day, a young man came, and he was the auditor for the County of Los Angeles. And he was a student at Long Beach City College and got his accounting degree from there. And there's all kinds of stories like that. And we really literally changed lives by offering education.
Okay, now, when you say that much money, one little organization can't do it. How do you get money? How do you get this?
Well, first of all, Long Beach is a very generous community, and we have wonderful residents, and a lot of our money comes from people who are not alumni, but they're residents of the community who understand the importance of education.
And the community college is the place where
and
they
the
enter.
community college is the place where the money stays in Long Beach, in the Long Beach area, and we are the best financial investment someone can make. The courses are less.
In other people's eyes.
Yes, in other people's eyes. And so if you make a major gift to us, it may be a minor gift to another school, but to us, it's very, very important.
Well, I think what I was leading to with that question also was, you don't do it on your own. What groups do you have? Because I know you coordinate a lot of groups. Because if somebody's interested in music but not athletics, you know, tell us about the different groups that you touch.
Well, first of all, we have a board of 80 people, and these are community volunteers, business people, volunteers, retirees, and they support the general work of the foundation. Then we have 10 associate groups, and they support specific departments like athletics, fine arts, child development, and so each of these areas have one fundraiser a semester.
So each one of these areas concentrates on the people that are interested in giving assistance to students that are studying music or just studying business.
Exactly. Well, for instance, athletics, we put on a golf tournament, and that supports both the men's and women's athletic programs. And fine arts, we put on, we had a gallery showing last spring. And child development, they support the children at the Child Development Center, and they have a number of fundraisers.
And you also have a senior.
And we have the seniors program. And the seniors program, they have Sunday afternoon a presentation. We're having a Bossa Nova night, but Bossa Nova Day, and dinner. And that's a great outing on a Sunday for seniors. And what we pay for with them is for people who can't afford perhaps the books or the class or something like that.
Well, you know, in talking with other schools or and I know schools have wanted to start this type of a thing, and I know they come to you because ours is much older than theirs is. But and I was talking to someone not too long ago where I said, well, have you broken down the needs for people that are interested in different things? And they say no. And so I think the fact that you are diversifying and having them all together, which is not easy to do. And how did you get I don't know why I'm calling athletics and music all the time, but how did you get, because everyone likes their own little mailing group, and they don't want this other group.
Well, you know, it's interesting that you asked that, Beverly, because sometimes people think, well, I can go start my own group, but they don't understand there's laws and tax filings and things like that. And so really the groups understand that it's a symbiotic relationship, that they benefit from being part of the foundation, and we benefit because each one of these groups has a board between 5 and 20 people. So there are hundreds of people in our community supporting the college in addition to just the foundation board.
Into their particular
Into
interest.
their particular area. And they feel very comfortable. We keep the mailing list, we do all the bookkeeping for them, and we give them all the support that they need. And so it's a very positive relationship. And we have processes, and people follow the rules, and they know the rules. And so we really have had very good luck with these groups.
So in the working operations, they coordinate.
Yes, exactly.
But there are 20, how many? 10?
10 associate
social groups.
And they pick the fundraiser that they want to do. And one of the things that I do in the foundation is we don't have 2 golf tournaments. We don't have 2, like the Child Development had a senior prom. And so I make sure that they don't repeat each other because that broadens the audience, because there are people maybe from the senior center who will go to a library event. And so we try to keep them not competing and also not having things at the same time.
And I know also some of the organized groups that do different social things to gain money, they give to different groups. They don't, and they would give it to the City College Foundation, even though it's not part of your 10 groups.
Oh, absolutely.
Like the ones that come to mind are the Retired Teachers Association.
Absolutely. They give us scholarships. Probably a good example of this is there was this Long Beach Society for the Hard of Hearing, and they gave us their assets. And so we give scholarships for hearing impaired students. So any charity can give to us, and because the college is so big and so diverse, there's always a need somewhere that we can match that need up with the donor's desire.
Well, I agree with you. I think that it's very successful because of the people in the city of Long Beach. Give us an example of somebody. I love graduation days, and you see families of the dad getting 2 or 3 little kids, and you know, they don't know about college, and all of a sudden their dad's got a degree, an AA degree. Do you know some good stories?
Well, every commencement, I pick an alumni representative to sit on the podium with the trustees. And the reason is I want students in the audience to see that a successful person was in their seat and now they're sitting up on the stage. And so to me, that's an inspiration to them. And the one thing that everybody remarks about is the joy in the faces of the recipients. And also, they're so proud to get that degree or that certificate. I've been to many university graduations, and the students honestly can be rude. But these students are so excited, and like you said, their parents are there and their children, and every possible combination. One thing that one of the presidents started up, and it could have been you, is they say, how many of you were born outside the United States? How many of you were the first to go to college? How many of you, have a job after graduation? And it's amazing. They just stand up to see the diversity of our community.
And the pride
And
they
the
feel.
pride.
And the pride they feel.
Absolutely.
Ginny, thanks so much. It's just been fun talking about the foundation again, and you've done such a wonderful job with it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you all for watching. As you've seen, you've had 2 groups in the city of Long Beach that really make our city stronger and more important to everyone. Before we go, I also want to say thank you to the Long Beach Community Foundation, headed by Jim Worsham. They're going to be sponsoring us for the next few months. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time.